Hello, everybody, and welcome to Back and Forth. I'm your host, Gecko Man, and sitting beside me is our co-host, Rogue Gambit, the man whoever he used to be, the man he is now. I don't think he is the kind you save. He is the kind you stop.
I'm not going to kill anyone. I don't do that anymore.
You may not kill anybody, but you do fight. And speaking of fighting, let's talk some fight scenes here.
All right. Yes, our favorite MCU fight scenes.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to break this down by character or characters to make it easier. So we're not necessarily doing a top 10 or top 5 like we have in the past. We're just going to talk about our favorite fight scenes by each character. And we might list our favorite by that with that character in it, or our favorite in a movie or whatnot. We're not necessarily doing a top 5.
Yeah.
This episode.
Or a top 10.
Or top 10.
Or a top 100.
2 million, yeah. In a couple years, probably we could do a couple hundred Marvel fight scenes. But anyways.
All right.
Who do we want to start with first?
Well, on my list here, we have Wanda first on the list.
All right. We got a lot of them, especially in the last couple movies. All right. I know what by far my favorite Wanda moment is. I think it's like everybody's, and it's a beautiful, I'm going to call it a fight scene, but it's a beautiful fight, and that's between Wanda and Thanos. That was amazing.
That was so good. Yeah, that was more like it was just more like Thanos being strangled.
Yeah. I don't think Wanda really has like all that many full fight scenes, right?
Yeah.
Until, of course, in Multiverse Madness, she has a couple.
Yeah.
And she has a couple in Infinity Wars. But like for the most part, she just has like really awesome moments.
Mm-hmm. I think the ones that can qualify as fight scenes would be Age of Ultron.
Yep.
Probably an Infinity
2 in Age of Ultron.
2?
Yeah.
Oh, probably when
she fights Vision, or like
Vision.
Yeah, to get out of the mansion.
Oh, that's
her and Hawkeye fight Vision.
That's not in Age of Ultron. That's in
Civil War. That's right.
But yeah. You
could still call 2 in Age of Ultron. If you got the one when she's evil and the one when she's good.
Are you sure you got the 2 right?
Civil War, you could say 2.
Yeah, definitely with the fight between the
Infinity Wars, you can say 2.
Do you want to just take over this?
Yes. Endgame, you can say 1, and then Multiverse of Madness.
You said Infinity War 2?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
All right. So let's go through some of my favorites here.
Yeah.
I think, the moment when she's decides to be an Avenger, it has to be. I mean, I've had it up there for just like Wanda moments or whatever earlier. When she walks out that door and just starts wrecking Ultron bots. It's so good. And then it just culminating in Pietro's death and her just releasing all that energy and just like wiping out so many. That was epic. It was like the first moment we saw. She's pretty powerful. We'd seen that she could, use her magic and manipulate people, and, she could kill Ultron bots here and there, but like just seeing her just absolutely manhandling, like she was on the level of Thor and Iron Man,
Yeah, it
was great.
Terrifying yet awesome. Like, because at that point you would not know what Wanda will become in the future of Marvel. I think one of mine is just that moment when I guess she doesn't really fight at the end of Infinity War in the bit. She just comes in and just takes out a bunch of guys.
I mean, but like that moment is so good when Black Widow's on the ground, and I can never remember her name.
I have it's on the tip of my tongue.
Condon Warrior. Yuri.
Yuri?
No, Yuri's the guy. I always get him confused. Anyways, her, and she's there, and Wanda comes and just like grabs that big machine and just throws them on both sides. And Dan, what's her face?
Why she's been up here there this whole time.
Yeah. That's such a great moment. Yeah. But I'd say Infinity War's the fight scene when she's protecting Vision from Toxin right before Captain America comes. And for display. Such a good fight scene. Such a good use of her magic against like a melee weapon. You don't get to see that very much. That was really good.
Is there any others that you think?
So then the only other. So Civil War she didn't do a whole lot. She was very.
She just brought a bunch of cars down on top of Iron Man.
And she kind of was one of the ones caught in the middle, didn't really know what side to go on, so we didn't focus too much on her. And then in Endgame, yeah, I mean, when she just starts wrecking Thanos, amazing.
And not even then,
and that's when you see the culmination of our powers that we've seen building up until this point.
Yeah, but still, I think because I feel like we do get a couple shots of her fighting in the background somewhere on a couple scenes of when you see the when you you see her fighting and she's still taking out a bunch of enemies and stuff. It's crazy. It's hard to put somebody up against her,
right? Because
she's so powerful.
Yeah, and that's why I'd say a couple of my favorite ones in Multiverse of Madness.
Let me guess. It is her against the Illuminati.
So yeah, just the look of the fact that she wasn't even there, and they proved showed that so viscerally with her being just in plain clothes,
Yeah,
and it just felt like she's not even a superhero. She's just
and
random Wanda walking in and just decimating the robots, Ultron bots, I should say, because they're not robots. Then decimating the Illuminati was just incredible.
Okay. Yeah,
and then I'd say that's the only fight scene that stood out to me in that.
I guess
there's some other good moments, but I wouldn't say really
could say maybe the fight scene against her and all the sorcerers.
Oh, when she just rolls in it.
Yeah. I don't know about that one. That one,
it was okay. It definitely showed this is gonna be showed that she was on the level of Doctor Strange right away. It did that. And visually, it started out really good.
Yeah.
It kind of just became a CGI little mess in the middle, and then it ended really good.
To be honest, I think I saw one guy die 2 times.
Yeah, there was definitely some. But it visually it could have been better in the middle for sure.
Oh yeah,
but the start and end was incredible in that fight scene.
Yeah. I don't think there's really any others. I think we kind of hit a lot of all the good fight scenes with Wanda.
Alrighty, who do we want to do next?
Let's see. I think we'll save the next one for last. How about we go into one of your favorite Marvel characters?
Okay.
Thor.
All right, Thor. Oh my goodness, so many good ones. We'll start in Thor, of course. The first Thor movie, he has a couple of good ones, whether it be his fight when he doesn't have powers with the random guard dudes. Some really good hand-to-hand fighting there, some great stunt work, some really good choreography. In there, he doesn't have too many great fights with his powers. He kind of just wrecks people,
Yeah.
The one with Loki isn't bad though, and the one with Frost Giants is really good.
Oh yeah.
Just shows how powerful he is again. And that's really good for a introduction of a character, right?
Yeah.
Starts out, shows his power. That's why when he loses it, it feels so big because he lost so much. And then when he regains it, it shows that he destroys the Destroyer, and it's not a great scene, but does do its job. Shows how powerful he is once again.
Well, moving off of Thor, how about Avengers?
All right. In the Avengers, the fight against Hulk is really especially without his hammer, when he's going toe to toe, just strength for strength with the Hulk. That's pretty epic.
It really shows how strong he is without his hammer. It's terrifying.
The fight against Captain America, or against Iron Man and Captain America intervenes, it's okay.
Not my favorite.
When I first watched it, I hated it. I was like, that makes no sense. Thor would just wreck them type of a thing. I was just kind of annoyed. But it is actually adds to the story. It does. After watching it, I've watched it 8 times with it's not too bad, but it's definitely not up there for me. But yeah.
The final.
You just kind of see him destroying aliens. You don't really see him fighting, but his power, especially when he goes up on that building, and just releases the lightning everywhere.
Yeah.
Thor: The Dark World. The fight with Malekith at the end is beautiful, and just cool, and the fact that they're going from realm to realm, going through all the different portals, and sometimes fighting with his hammer, sometimes without his hammer. He's getting beat at some points, winning at some points. It's a good fight. Nothing spectacular though. Thor Ragnarok. Now that one has some really good fight scenes in it.
Thor and Hulk again.
Thor and Hulk again, yes, really good. I guess Age of Ultron came before this, but that's okay. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
Thor and Hulk, yeah, they have some pretty great moments. The arena fight scene is really good.
Again, it just shows how strong he is.
Right. And the ending is just so unsatisfying, though. Because I really wanted to see them go full on against each other, and they were about to, and of course the whatever his name is ends it.
Yeah, that was annoying.
And then him gaining his fight against Hela was really good.
I guess
when he loses his eye, it was really good. I like that fight a lot.
I've only seen the movie once.
I'm not a big fan of Hela as a villain, and just her fighting style, but I do think against Thor that was really cool. And then him just going full, realizing his full power was just beautiful. I wouldn't say it was a great fight scene, but was beautiful. And then old Age of Ultron, you don't get to see him do too much.
I mean, he does. I think you do see him. No, he fights against Ultron for a bit without his hammer.
Yep.
And then he's like, I am Thor, son of Odin, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was okay. Not too bad. I feel like it could have been better.
Sure.
I feel like almost any fight scene could be done better. Almost every fight scene. Remember the almost.
And then you, of course, see him destroying lots and lots of bots.
Yeah.
And then moving on to Infinity. Did you want to say something?
No.
All right, moving on to Infinity War. We get some pretty good fight scenes with him.
Well, before we go, let's see. Does he fight any time before the big fight?
So he's already incapacitated, so he's not fighting at the start. He gets picked up to the Guardians of the Galaxy. He goes to Vormir. Not Vormir.
The Dying Star. What is with you with names today and stuff? Words, come on.
Nidavellir. He goes to Nidavellir, and then he shows up at the end fight. So you're not really going to see him, but that end fight is so good. Yeah. He comes in just wrecking them, right?
Yeah. And he doesn't actually really fight any singular person.
Right. He just destroys everybody.
Yeah. And then even so I just want to point out though, he was beaten by Thanos at the very beginning.
Right.
And we don't see that.
Right.
And then just really quickly, he takes out Thanos. He tries to take out Thanos.
Right. Yeah.
And it wasn't even a fight. It was just him throwing his axe and stuff.
But his entrance and attacking of Thanos was cool. But yeah, once again, I don't know if that's a fight scene, right?
Yeah,
it's more of just a moment or two moments together that were beautiful.
Yeah.
And then Endgame, we get to see him, of course.
Fat Thor.
Yeah. Chop off Thanos' head.
Fat Thor with abs.
Yeah. And then, but the final fight when he's wielding both hammers. Oh my goodness. So beautiful.
Yeah. It was good. And especially, I just want to also say, especially after the point when Captain America is able to hold Mjolnir when they're fighting together, or even the whole fight with.
Right. But I do want to talk about that fight scene more later when we get to group fight scenes, because it was more of a 3-on-1.
That's true. That's true. Right? That's true. You are so right.
Moving on to the next person, I guess.
All right. Let's see here. How about we go ahead and do...
So we did talk about Hulk. Do you want to go to Hulk since we kind of mentioned him against Thor?
You just have to steal my thunder. I was just about to say Hulk.
So we talked about Thor against Hulk a few times, so I was like, Hulk would be fun to do. So in the Incredible Hulk movie, of course, the fight against the Ross's men in the college camp is great. And when the first time he fights... the guy who turns into Abomination. I can't remember his name
Yeah.
because I can't remember names today. And that fight is just really good. Just like seeing, it's just a really cool fight to see like a tiny, like fast, skilled fighter against just a giant.
Yeah.
You know, and that's always fun. And usually it goes the other way, you know,
Uh-huh.
but you just like see Hulk just like destroy him. That's super good.
Yeah.
And then of course the final fight with Abomination has its
Yeah.
faux pas.
Yeah.
And it definitely could have been much, much better, but it was fine.
Yeah. It was.
Nothing,
It was.
nothing terrible. I think it gets a bad rap just because the CGI was mediocre. The
Mhm.
things could have been much better, but I don't think it was that bad.
Yeah. It was. It was okay. It was not too bad. Not too bad, but it wasn't. It was not the best.
And then moving on, next time we see him is in Avengers, and he just kind of smashes. We got, of course, the fight scene with Loki. Doesn't, you know,
Well,
last that
it
long.
wasn't. It wasn't really a fight with
Right.
Loki. It was more like just throwing him to the ground multiple times.
Right. He had his moments, of course, in that movie. Seeing him team up, of course, was kind of cool when, you know, like they throw when he like takes out a couple of the. Oh, speaking of which, Thor does the same thing, you know, smashing the thing through the scale of the beast, you know, the flying thing, and he stabs it into the ground, and then Thor comes and hammers it down and takes it down. That was pretty cool. But anyways, and then, of course, Hulk punches Thor. That was great, too.
Moving on to fight scenes. Come on.
I was just saying, there's
yeah.
Hulk and Thor didn't just fight each other. Sometimes
Yeah.
they work together. And then Ragnarok.
What about the
Ultron.
what about? Yeah.
So in Ultron, I guess we've got Hulkbuster versus Thor. I mean, Hulkbuster versus Hulk. Really good fight scene.
that was pretty good. Just the sheer like destructive power that Hulk
Right.
has, and not only that, how he wasn't even in control.
Right. And like when he's not in control, how destructive he was, showing how much Banner holds him back. You know? Even though Banner has very little control, like he does still hold him back a little bit. And then not only seeing that, but seeing somebody as intelligent as Tony Stark with as much firepower as he can have, still like can't beat him, you know.
Yeah. Oh.
And then you see him smash some stuff,
Mm-hmm.
smash some bots.
He doesn't really fight again after that,
Right.
until like Infinity War, and except.
But when do I get what I want? Yeah.
I mean, actually, why don't we talk about the very first the fight with Thanos?
Yeah.
And
so
Hulk
now,
right there.
Thanos and Hulk. This is probably my favorite fight with Hulk. Yes, he loses, but it was such just a spectacular fight.
Yeah.
And the choreography is so good. The sound design, I love how silent it gets there, and then just like every hit just sounds so good.
Thunderous hit.
Yeah,
Like,
and just shows how powerful Thanos has been, right? Like we've seen him take down a god before, right? We've
Yeah.
seen him go toe to toe with Thor. We've seen him really be unmatched, and then just watch Thanos just decimate him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, it was so good.
Yeah, and Hulk is the strongest Avenger.
Thor would have something to say about that.
I know you would have something to say, but we all know Hulk is. Have you seen the Hulk clap?
Yep.
All right.
So yeah, that was by far my favorite, and such a good fight.
Mm-hmm. And then kind of moving down the road to like Endgame. Not.
I mean, we see a different Hulk, right?
Yeah.
And he's not really a fighter. He doesn't fight too much.
Yeah.
You just see him smash some stuff here and there. We don't really get a good fight scene moment with him.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, speaking of Hulk, and maybe we can move on to Iron Man.
Alrighty. So we mentioned, of
this
course,
has-
the Iron Man fight scene with Hulk, but there is a lot.
Yeah, but I just want to say Iron Man there's probably a fight with Iron Man that is my like second favorite.
Okay.
Like a really good fight scene.
So I guess we'll start off with the
Obadiah Stane.
Well, I was going to start off with Ironmonger coming out of the cave.
Oh, yes. I completely spaced on that. Yes. That was epic.
Yeah, just like an introduction to the Marvel universe is so good.
Yeah. And he
First, basically, fight scene we see, and
Yeah.
we just see him like destroying and like, but like it wasn't easy or simple, you know. Like he was in a suit where he had to do stuff. Like he wasn't one of his later suits where he just beep boop boop and shooting missiles and everything. He was happy to physically do things. He was having to like march around. He couldn't fly.
Yeah.
And just like it was a really well done fight scene. Just a culmination of a story that was really good of him building the suit and all.
Oh yeah.
Anything else you want to say about that one?
Yeah, like you said, it was just it was a lot of him doing stuff, like him having to manually open up a latch to launch his rocket.
Exactly.
Like that was amazing.
Moving on, then when he gets his first suit and he goes and takes out some
of the terrorists.
Some of the terrorists, yeah.
The 10 rings, as they are called, apparently.
Yeah. We see it's a lot easier for him.
Yeah.
Has some good moments, the whole now it's my turn and reaching through the wall, grabbing the guy and landing, kinging everybody, takes them all out at once.
Taking out the tank.
Right, that's what now it's my turn.
Oh, yes. I forgot the line.
Of course, walking away with the AC/DC song playing. I don't remember which one it was that one, but and then
I think possibly the one moment that really sticks out in that fight was him against the Jets.
Yeah.
Because those were his friendlies. Like he couldn't shoot on those guys, so it was kind of interesting to watch him fight those.
Showing how I think that was also like good to show how how agile he is in the air, because he's compared to like the most agile planes we have, and just outmaneuvering him easily. Just because he's so small. And then of course the fight with Obadiah Stane at the end. Not a fan personally.
Yeah,
I like the fact that he had to outsmart Obadiah, but they just didn't set up the Ironmonger well enough before that to like really hit home. But it's a pretty good fight still. It should have just ended when he did outsmart him, though. It's okay. Anyways, and moving on to Iron Man 2. There's some okay ones, I guess. Yeah, I mean, all the fights with Whiplash were okay.
Yeah,
just like character development was so bad that they didn't really hit home.
Yeah, there's not really any favorite ones, we should say, in Iron Man 2, and definitely not in Iron Man 3.
Well, we can go to Avengers next. Against Thor. It was all right.
It was all right, as you said before.
And then watching him not take orders, but follow Hawkeye's lead at the end was really cool.
Oh yeah,
just like for a story arc standpoint. But fighting. There's some fun moments. I wouldn't say like a fight scene really stood out to me in the movie.
Nothing stood out. He was mainly just flying around, trying to take them out. I think
so. Iron Man 3. Yeah, I mean, there's a fun one when he doesn't have his suit and takes them out, and it was just kind of cheesy and fun. But
yeah, nothing really.
But really, nothing stands out in that one. The ending for sure not. That was terrible.
Age of Ultron.
Him fighting Ultron was really fun. Outside the ship and all.
Oh.
That was really cool. Just like it's like the first time we really got like a flying battle.
Yeah.
In the MCU that was like
to break your old man's heart. That's not really part of that flying battle, but
yeah.
It's another good moment of him. Like it was another fight scene that he had with him where they did fly around and fight.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. The final fight in that.
I mean, he's not in the fight too much because he's trying to figure out how to
stop the.
Yeah,
thing. He fights for a bit, especially at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah. Movie
Civil War.
Nothing.
Well, we'll get to some group ones in that one.
Yeah. There's nothing stands out for just him.
Him on somebody or him on.
It's hard to do Civil War when it's not like
there's so many just like group fights.
Yeah. But what's the next one? We had
Infinity War.
Infinity War.
Right, go ahead, take it away.
So, first off, let's point out about the first fight that happens when he's fighting against I forget their names. The big guy and the Mr. Telepath guy.
Give me a second. Ebony Maw and the big guy. Because they changed his name from the comics to that movie, and I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, just that fight scene.
We'll just say the Black Order.
Yeah, there we go. The Black Order. Pretty good. Not too bad. It's like it was a good fight to start out with in Infinity War. Like, I love the whole reveal with the nano suit.
Yeah. His entrance is great. The fight is really good. The way it like ends but doesn't really end,
Yeah.
Like he kind of feels like he won, but he kind of feels like he lost. But he stood his ground. That's what he needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then
they go to
space, fights, and then his fight with Thanos. It's kind of a group fight, but also there is like a fight scene between him and Thanos, and that's so good.
One. That is the one that is like my second favorite fight.
Yeah,
because it is just like when he is it after he lands and just says, "If you throw another moon at me, I'm gonna lose it." Yeah. And just how he uses his nanotechnology and does all that dodging and fighting and like moves his nano.
Yeah,
and it's just it's so beautiful and just. I love that
for a drop of blood. And like that's kind of like the whole movie, right?
Yeah.
Is like they're doing so much to stop Thanos, but really it's so ineffective.
Yeah.
Right? And that's just like it in a fight form, right? They do so much. All they get is a drop of blood.
Yeah, it was.
And then like we knew people were gonna die in that movie, and we didn't know who it was, and like you were like, is he actually going to die?
Yeah, and then
oh my goodness! So
and then that final moment of Thanos just ripping his knife out of his hand and just basically
stabbing him with it.
It was just like, oh man. And then of course after that fight, what does Thanos say? He's like, "I hope you live." He says something. He like Thanos respects him.
Oh yeah, he says
something like it just shows how much Iron Man grew in all the movies and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, when Thanos is like, I hope they remember you. And that just like, as you said, like shows Tony Stark's story throughout 20 whatever movies at that point, right? Oh my gosh. It gives me chills.
Yeah. So good. And then we can't really go into Endgame without talking about a group fight.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't do much fighting in that, He's, for the most part of the movie, he's sitting it out. So.
Yeah, until like the end
when they're all fighting. So let's move on. I mean, that was a big one.
That was a big one.
What do we got next?
Do you want to give the next character?
Sure. Let's go over to a smaller character before we get to some of the bigger ones. Let's go with Hawkeye and Black Widow. Let's put them together.
Okay, Hawkeye and Black Widow.
So, let's see. We see Hawkeye and Thor. He doesn't do much. We see Black Widow and Iron Man 2. She
goes to the building where Whiplash is and fights all those guys.
We see the little funny fight scene with Happy, and then we see him take out the people in Stark Industries or at the Stark Expo, I guess.
Yeah.
That's okay. A lot of people loved it at the time, I remember, and I was like, eh. It's definitely grown on me. Its choreography is very well done, and both the Scarlett Johansson and her stunt team do a really good job. So I guess we'll get to Avengers because that's when we see quite a bit of them.
Yes.
I know you're not a big fan of Hawkeye's story arc in that movie.
Yeah,
but what did you think of like his fight scenes and stuff?
But I've actually, yeah. So first of all, I want to point out, like he said, I'm not the biggest fan. But it did grow on me a little bit as I like kind of learned more about Hawkeye,
Okay.
But the fight scene, what fight scene was it? What's the fight scene with him?
All right. So the first time we see him, attempt to fight Loki, get taken over. Then we see when he's taken over, he attacks the shield carrier, and then we see him fight Black Widow.
Oh yes, that was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
That was really good.
It was a pretty good, especially in like a movie where there's so much CGI, big fight scenes. Just like a nice little hand-to-hand combat fight scene was good. Though the ending was not satisfying at all, but the fight itself was fine. Good even. And then at the end we see him just being Hawkeye, and it was actually I agree I wasn't a big fan of his story arc, but the ending it felt good. It felt good for him.
Really?
In my opinion.
Okay. I mean, I did like how he was just like being Hawkeye and just taking out so many guys.
Yeah, and like just like showing that he was, though people would maybe disagree with me here, was like useful, right? Like calling things out, being a hawk in the air, seeing everything, taking
and never missing his shot.
Right.
Just shows how good, how well he can see and be an archer.
And Black Widow had some fun moments, of course, when she like drops down and climbs up on that dude, or like gets the boost up from Cap, climbs on that dude.
I was about to ask when she drops down.
I thought she dropped down from the thing, but I got that confused with in a different movie. Anyways, we'll get to that later. And then rides him over there and like figures it out, but like she doesn't really do too much fight scenes. So she shoots some aliens and stuff, but nothing too amazing. But next movie, Captain America: Winter Soldier. She has some. What do you think of her fight scenes?
I think. What's the first? Is the first fight scene when? Yeah, the first fight scene is. Do we see her fight at all on the boat?
No, she's just beep, 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 beep.
I couldn't remember.
Oh, my bad. Boom, flies out. Yeah.
You said that like you didn't care about that.
No, we do see her fight getting into the. Remember when they're like engine room clear, and she's just like takes the guy out, and then she's like engine room clear, grabs the wrench, and then turns around and smacks the guy.
Really fast, guys. Go ahead and slow it down so you can hear him.
Sorry, when I talk about this movie, I get a little excited. But yeah, there is that fight scene that is really good. Especially when she like takes the little.
I think I find more enjoyment in these two characters when they're taking out multiple people because they don't have any superpowers.
Exactly.
But it's like enjoyable to watch them take out so many people.
Yeah, that fight scene. Thanks for reminding me about it because it is actually one of my favorite hand-to-hand fight scenes with her in it, where her just ingenuity and use of like hooking your grapple to that guy when she jumps off, stuff like that.
Yeah,
that just was really well done. Hiding behind the body, then reaching out with her two guns, just like things like that you realize she has to do because, like you said, she doesn't have superpowers. She has to be very strategic in the way she fights. Yeah. And then her stunt double is so good.
Yeah,
and and her herself, she does a lot of the movements herself. She's just so agile, so flexible, so just strong. Great wire work in that. Like there was a lot of times you could tell there was a wire, but there were some times where you're like not 100% sure.
Yeah.
And then the next time
there was even a wire when she used a wire.
There probably was. In fact, I know there was. Then we don't really see her fight until
the bridge.
The bridge, yeah, where she they come out of the car, then she's like, I got this, jumps down. They think that she's gonna get shot, she jumps off, shoots her grapple up, swings down, and then she like uses, once again, using her line of sight and everything, blocks their line of sight, uses their shadow, turns around, shoots him in the glasses, goggles, whatever you want to call them. And then we have the epic fight with her and Bucky that is so well choreographed there. Chris Bernstead, I love you. And
just the whole time, and like
once again using her ingenuity with the little recording, getting the upper hand. But
I just want to point out, yet we still feel like she's having like a very hard time with this.
And then of course it culminates with her getting shot. Oh my goodness, you're just like, is she gonna die? Like that? And the soundtrack, I know I go on about this soundtrack, but when she gets shot, that soundtrack just stops in its tracks, and it is so eerie.
Remember that.
So eerie in that moment.
Yeah, because she get shot and then can't see him or something like.
Well, so it happens. She tries to take him out, right? But he ends up blocking with his arm the choke. Whatever.
Oh yeah,
the cravat or whatever.
Wire, whatever.
Yeah, and then throws her off. She knows he's going to pull out a gun, so she starts running and telling all the people to run. She gets shot, and she's still just like, get out of here, get out of here. Soundtrack stops, and then she's about to get shot again, and then the whine comes in, and Captain America shows up.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't remember.
Just see him running.
Doesn't she look first to see like where he is? Because she gets behind a van or something, looks,
but he's on the other side.
And he's on the other side. Like, just that whole fight scene was amazing. With
such good camera work, such good choreography.
Yeah. And then does she fight at all at the final battle, or is she in the control?
Well, yeah. So she uses the face thingy to be like that woman that's on the council.
But she doesn't really fight.
Yeah, she doesn't really fight. She just like shows up and then
she is an assassin.
Zaps herself, and
zaps herself.
Remember with her widow's sting to not stop her heart's like thing when it go off.
Oh yeah.
Or whatever. Not to stop her heart, but to electrocute it so it reboots, and so Nick Fury has time to shoot Pierce.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, not really any hand-to-hand fighting or anything.
Yeah.
You do see her take the gun away. It's pretty funny. Great reveal. Like, yeah. Anyways, and then let's see. Civil War would be next, I guess.
Yeah, Civil War would be
or
next.
Age of Ultron.
Oh yeah, Age of Ultron.
I mean, we get the fun little fight scene when Ultron bots first attack at the party.
But then after that,
yeah, like
she gets.
It's kind of hard to show her like hand-to-hand fighting bots, you know. So we don't get a whole ton of it, and none of it was great.
Yeah.
She's mainly just helping get citizens away. So yeah, move on to Civil War.
Civil War.
There's a couple of good ones. We get to see her fight Bucky again.
Mm-hmm.
And then which was a good fight. We'll talk about that more when we get to Winter Soldier, because I feel like it's more of Winter Soldier against a bunch of people rather than him versus one or him versus the other, right?
Yeah.
In that instance. And then we see her fight Hawkeye again. I guess we didn't talk about that in the Hawkeye, but we can talk about it now. What did you think of that fight at the airport with her and Hawkeye?
Oh, I just thought maybe the dialogue was a little funny. Like,
yeah, it was a little like the whole dialogue in that movie is kind of the weakest point.
Yeah,
and it wasn't great there.
But I thought it was okay. Like it was another fight between Hawkeye and Scarlet Witch, Black Widow.
And then we don't really get to see her after that. So moving on to Infinity War. Am I missing something? I think it's Infinity War next, right?
Yeah, it's Infinity War.
All right, Infinity War. So we get to see her. I guess it's kind of more of a group one where her, Falcon, and
Hawkeye let's wait for that one.
And Corvus.
And it's a group one. I would say it's another group one.
Yeah, but there is definitely like the fight against her and Proxim with the person I can't remember her name of for some reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one, I guess it's kind of a group one, but we're not going to mention her, so I guess we can mention her in this one. That was a really fun fight.
That was a really fun fight.
Seeing like just like an OP hand-to-hand combatant against two like just very skilled hand-to-hand combatants. So good.
Oh yeah.
And then we have to mention the final Black Widow and Hawkeye fight.
I think it was
Endgame.
Yeah, I think that was very sad because one of them was gonna fall off.
Yeah, knowing one of them's gonna die has to.
Yeah.
And
it really
I didn't know who I wanted. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Like you don't want either of them to have to, but like if I had to choose, I didn't know. Like they both had told their stories so well in that movie to that point. In Infinity War. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness, like you didn't want Hawkeye for so many reasons, but you were like, Hawkeye like deserves this in some ways, you know, deserves to be the one to redeem himself. And then with her, you're like, you didn't want her either, but you were like understood like she wanted to redeem herself too, you know?
Yeah. It was sad.
Yeah.
Do we even talk about the Unspoken movie?
Well,
I guess it's not.
I want to talk about this fight scene a little more.
Yeah. I
just like one of the things that makes that fight scene so good is the not only like that's lurking that one of them is gonna lose, but like they're both fighting to lose, and so it's just a really unique fight that's going on.
Yeah,
and then the camera work kind of adds to that where they do such a good job of showing how close they are to the ledge, showing it from below, showing that the ledge is there, like just like keeps that in your mind so well. So many good cuts in that fight scene.
I need
to watch that movie again. It's been a long time, but yeah, so good. And like all the way up until the end where they're both hanging off and you still like,
who is it? Like,
and then
one
the
of them
reveal,
could
like the reveal felt so sad, but good
was
at the same time.
impactful.
Yeah, it was, there you go. So much impact with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, one thing I will say real fast about that fight scene, I just thought it was kind of funny that Red Skull was just sitting in the background.
Yeah, that's pretty good. We can, I guess, touch on Black Widow for just a hot second. None of those fight scenes really stand out to me.
Yeah.
The only one that comes close is the first fight scene with Taskmaster. Was good, and that's really the only one that I think was.
That was the only one.
And the ending was not satisfying in it, but like it was really well shot. Some good choreography in that one.
All right.
We have been talking for a long time, so we need to like get to these next ones. All right, let's go with. I guess we'll just talk about Black Panther very briefly because we're going to mention him in some group fight scenes here pretty soon. But just in the Black Panther movie, I think there's the fight scene with both the fight scenes where he's fighting for the throne are both really good fight scenes, really well choreographed, really good hand-to-hand work, really good stunt work, really good soundtrack. Whether it was him fighting the M'Baku or
I don't know why I can't think of names today. Okay. Mr. Ape guy.
Oh, that's M'Baku.
That's M'Baku.
Michael B. Jordan, Killmonger. Yes, Killmonger's character.
Why did I get that?
Hey, I got the actor before you got the character. Anyways, yeah, both those really well done. The final fight, not so great.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our final like hand-to-hand combatant, and the one that we'll probably talk the most on, Winter Soldier.
Yep. Really fast though, do we want to maybe mention our favorite? We're going to be mentioning our favorite fight scenes. In the end, you're probably going to say your favorite fight scene in this because we all know.
Maybe who knows? Who really
it's a
knows?
Winter Soldier fight. I know it is.
Who knows? All right, so let's start with him fighting a group. All right, let's start in Civil War with him when he's fights the first time you see him in Civil War, right? Captain America finds him. We quoted at the start if you didn't realize that.
Yeah.
And he has to fight all those SWAT people to get out of the building, and then runs into Black Panther, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just
anything like, because I could talk about this a lot.
Yeah. Let me talk.
All right, go ahead.
So being Civil War, and when I first watched it, I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. In theaters, so fun to watch.
Yeah. Like, and not only that, hearing the line of him saying, I won't, or something about what you said at the beginning of this episode.
I don't kill anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't kill anymore. And then he doesn't kill a single SWAT member. Yeah. I was like, whoa. And I think also it kind of puts him into a point where you're like, he's using Captain America.
Right.
It was so good.
Yeah, they do such a good job of, because they've set up his character so well, like putting you in that like position of what side is he fighting for,
Yeah.
never really knowing. So what I love about that fight scene
if you say soundtrack
is the way he uses environmental weapons. Right?
Oh.
From the very start. Throws the bed, right? Takes the table, throws it into the door to stop them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uses a brick, uses the battering ram, uses their own weapons, uses I can't remember what else. He uses something else against the SWAT team, and then once he gets outside and fights Black Panther on the roof, he uses some environmental weapons there, whether it be that the metal pieces, another brick, things like that.
Yeah,
cinder block. All that throughout that whole fight scene is so well done. That's probably my favorite part of that fight scene. But yeah, the choreography, the soundtrack, the way that him and Captain America fight together, so good. Like just like how it starts, right? Tear gas comes in, he knocks it over to Captain America. Captain America puts his shield up, boom, blows up. He immediately throws the bed, grabs the table, throws it just so snappy, so quick, such good camera work. Yeah.
This isn't Captain America: The Winter Soldier, so you could slow down.
And then when he fights Black Panther, just like seeing him, like I don't know, I wish it's one of those. Is a few fight scenes that left me wanting a little bit more. You know, like if that could have gone on for just a split second longer, that could have been so good. It's a good fight scene, but it could have been so good.
Yeah.
And then the chase, of course, it's not really a fight scene, but the chase is good still.
I mean,
And then, of course, getting captured, he goes and then he fights against Black Widow, Iron Man, well, Tony Stark, really not Iron Man at that point, and Black Panther or T'Challa to get out. That's another really good fight scene. Some really good choreography there. Anything you want to say about that? Like it didn't necessarily stand out to me as being great, so I wasn't going to talk on it too much. But
yeah, nothing too crazy. I mean, probably the whole fight with Spider-Man.
Oh, we're going to there. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't realize we were on a different spot. I must have blanked out for a moment.
Yeah, so the fight with Spider-Man and Falcon and him.
Yeah.
That's really good too. It's a little more like quippy rather than like hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah,
but it was still a really good fight scene, really good visuals. And then it's a group fight scene after that. So we'll go to, is there any others where he just fights by himself?
No, it goes
because even
on.
in Infinity War he doesn't.
He's in Infinity War, but he's with people. He's in Endgame.
Right. So we'll go to Captain America: The Winter Soldier here.
Favorite fight scene, or
we'll first see him. Right, he comes in and takes out Nick Fury. Not really a fight scene, but does that. Then we see him kill Nick Fury.
It is just him killing, not fighting. Let's get to a fight.
Then Captain America chases him down, and they have a little
tussle.
Yeah.
Do they?
Yeah, he throws the shield, he catches it, and he throws it back, and he disappears.
That's a little tussle. That's more like playing catch.
Yeah, plays catch a little bit, but just like really good introduction of a character, and like shows that he is what the level he's on. Like he's on Captain America's level. And then we see him next. He shows up, picks up the car, shooting, boom, boom, boom. Then we talked about him fighting Black Widow, and now we get to my favorite fight scene in the MCU.
Yep, I knew it.
And that is Captain America fighting Winter Soldier in that fight scene.
What stands out most in
that fight is the camera work and the choreography for me, hands down. Chris Burns said, like I said, I love you. He did all the choreography there. He did stunt work for both people.
He did stunt work for both.
He does stunt work for both Chris Evans and Sebastian Stan.
Having a little trouble there.
And wow, it's so good. The timing is so good. The use of environmental weapons, use of all of his weapons, the hand-to-hand skills, the shield for the guns, all of it is just so good, and just culminated by the camera showing you everything you need to see, whether it be wide takes where we see the whole fight, whether it be zoomed in on his hand, zoomed in on his foot, zoomed in on his knee, on when he punches the ground. Every time we need to see something, it shows it to us. It doesn't show us too much where we're getting bored, we're watching background stuff. No, it's just like, this is the fight. It shows us the fight, shows everything needs. And of course, the soundtrack is so good, amplifying the hits when we need them, when we need it pushed, giving us the feeling of suspense, dread, not knowing who's going to win, all that in one fight scene. It's just, oh my goodness, so good. So
it is
so
pretty good.
And one of the few fight scenes I've talked about that I love, where the ending gives it all justice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So, and then we'll move to maybe another top 3, maybe my second favorite fight scene in the MCU, and that's when we watch Winter Soldier, from the instant he comes, just takes out, as I said before, all of the pilots, right?
Yeah, just takes out all the air support.
Within 30 seconds, just wipes out all these people. Just like, wow. Just like shows how powerful he is. Like, yeah, he's not an OP character by any stretch, but just shows up and just wrecks 6 planes.
And not only that, how tactical he is as well.
Once again, using other people's weapons, using grenades that they use on him, just throws them right back. The timing, the just ruthlessness that Sebastian Stan portrays so well. So good. Then he goes up there and just immediately takes out Falcon, right? Like that fight seems so good. And just takes him out like that. And then it all culminates with his fight with Captain America again. Once again, so good. Where we see not only is the fight so good, but the struggle inside himself. Like you want him so badly just to stop fighting Captain America and realize, but like he can't. He literally can't. And as much as he wants to, he cannot. And just, oh my goodness, so good. And once again, great choreography, great. Another thing that just makes that fight scene so good is the fact that like Captain America just has to get to this point, right? And he's trying to stop him. And the way that they like get him close, take him back, once again shows you everything. The camera work is so good. Once again, shows you the chip, right? Yeah. Shows it sliding, shows him grabbing it, shows you're never confused in that fight. So you're not like, where's the chip? What's gonna happen? Oh no, where's the chip? No, you know exactly where it is all the time. You know where Captain America needs to get all the time. You know where he is in relation to it. Even when he falls, you know where he's trying to get to. You know how he's going to get there. You know when he jumps up, grabs the pulls himself up. Every single time you have all the information you need. And that's something that like so many fight scenes just lose. They just want to be cool. They want to show too much, right? They cutting, and you're just losing track of where they are in space rather, but that each of those fight scenes just shows you the end goal, shows you what you need to see, and then just does it seamlessly. And the soundtrack, once again, builds and pushes and so good all the way to the end. And he's just beating on him, and the soundtrack just gets lower and lower as destruction's happening around him. Yeah, what else can I say?
Did you go fast enough?
Hey, like I said, we're running out of time. I gotta get
So
I think that can lead us to, unless there's something you want to do before Captain America, we can go to Captain America, as we talked about him quite a bit here.
Well, I was thinking we can go ahead and go to my favorite fight scene.
Okay, let's do it.
And then we can probably just end it there and do a part 2, maybe.
Okay, sounds good.
But since there's so many fight scenes, so many characters to work on here,
or maybe we should save your favorite for the end of next episode. Leave everyone in a little suspense.
Okay. Then how about we go ahead and let's finish off with Doctor Strange, since he's kind of on everybody's mind, kind of got, that freshness in him.
That's a good idea, because I know that there's one in Multiverse of Madness you're going to want to talk about.
So Doctor Strange. So first off, we see him. He fights in the Doctor Strange.
Yep.
Personally, to me, not the best.
Yeah, none of them really stand out too much.
Yeah, not the best fight scenes.
He is learning, right?
Yeah.
So the fight scenes do a good job of showing his progression, right? Of him getting better from the first time we see him fight and just get destroyed to the last time we see him fight, and the progression is there. But yeah, like none of them stand out as wow, that was cool, so cool, or really, really well done.
But Infinity War has a really amazing fight scene between Thanos and Doctor Strange.
Yeah, that's really good. Once again, just shows how much more powerful he's become, of course. Right?
Yeah. It shows how much more powerful he has become, but it just a good fight scene. Shows how much magic he is now able to use. But then after that, we see him in Endgame. Not much, just kind of defensive, keeping the artillery off them and stuff like that. Then we go into he's in Spider-Man, fight between Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. We won't get into that because we'll talk about it when we talk about Spider-Man. But Multiverse of Madness, the first fight with that creature was okay.
Yep.
Not too bad. Of course, I feel like Wong was a little, I forget, like forced in there? Is that what it felt like?
I mean,
I don't know.
I can definitely see that for sure.
But I'm trying to get this done quickly. I'm not as fast as Rogue over here. So the fight scene was okay, not too bad. Definitely shows a lot more how much more he has progressed in it, just how quickly he takes it out. But does he fight that much in after that? I don't think he does.
So we see him
At the fortress.
Yeah. And I mean, he more just is very defensive, doesn't do a whole lot. And then they get sucked into the portal, and then he goes to the Illuminati.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't fight until
he fights Mordo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. That was a beautiful fight. That was a pretty good fight.
Yeah. What I really like, yes, it's kind of annoying that like we have a magical character and like the best fight scene with him is hand to hand, but
yeah,
so good, especially because like what we've seen in Doctor Strange, we see him fight Mordo and just like see how much better of a skilled fighter Mordo is, and then to see him using everything to his advantage, and whether it be the cuffs, whether it be banter, just like being able to outwit him in so many ways, and also at the same time be toe to toe to him in the hand to hand level.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, okay, he has progressed so much. And then we see him fight Wanda, of course, and it was good. I really liked it. I liked. I really like the aesthetic of his fights. I really like the aesthetic of the magic they use for him, the color, the like, what he's doing. Like, it's not like you can do a lot of magic where you don't really know what's happening, and Wanda can get into that realm a little bit. But like, I feel like with Doctor Strange, when he's defensive, when he's being offensive, like his goals, what he's going for. We know what. Sometimes we don't know exactly what it does, but you can see it, right? And they did a really good job with that. And that's one thing I really like in the Infinity War fight too, is like when he opens the portal, and the things go through and like right back. And stuff.
Oh yeah, that was
with
good.
Wong and whatnot. Just so well done.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, great fight scenes with him. The one memorable fight scene for me though with him is with himself.
Yeah.
The whole musical fight was beautiful. I loved it.
Yeah, that one is just so fun. It's so beautiful, like you said. The sound design is so funny, but so cool at the same time.
Yeah.
The visuals were like you followed it so well, like exactly what was happening.
Like they're fighting, and then all of a sudden they just get like tangled up, and then he just like.
Right, like that could have been so cheesy if you didn't know exactly what was happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But it wasn't, because you knew like that's what needs to push it over the end. It's slightly cheesy, but it's so like it just hits.
It was Doctor Strange. Exactly. It was so good, and what made it even better was he was fighting himself, like a darker version of himself, and it was good. It was so good.
And and like I said last week, just the watching him fighting the darker version of himself, realizing that is himself, right? Like realizing that those are things he is willing to do as well, and then realizing that's what he has to do to fight. Alrighty. Anything else?
I think that does it for part 1. It's kind of funny because we just thought of doing part 1 and part 2. Yep. So this does it for part 1 of fight scenes. We'll go into more Marvel fight scenes next week.
Hopefully not talk as much, since we do have to talk about Obi-Wan coming out too. So.
Well, right. We're going to have to talk about Spider-Man next week, and there's a lot.
Right. But that, I guess, does it for that. Let's go. What is upcoming for Star Wars?
All right. So, of course, we have Obi-Wan coming next week. And we're probably going to have to do this one a little different than normal, because it's coming out on Friday. At least the 2 episodes that I believe are coming out on Friday. I don't know if they're going to continuously come out on Fridays. I think they are due to this. Not sure. Well, we'll see. But due to that, I think what we're going to do is just a small snippet of just Obi-Wan talk right after watching it. So you get
expectations and whatnot.
Yep. Then after that, nothing new on Ahsoka. I haven't seen anything on Ahsoka. Nothing on Bad Batch, Mandalorian, or Andor. Yeah. Like,
All right.
yeah. All right.
Well, there's been a lot in the Marvel universe. So today, I had mentioned this might happen to you, and apparently it did. So this is like breaking news for me too right now. So Kevin Feige did his first in person like big launch thing in New York City since the San Diego Comic Con in 2019. So it's been like almost 3 years, and he really. We'll just go over kind of the things that he talked about, and then we'll get into what we saw. So
All right.
he released a teaser trailer for She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, season 1. He
She's an
announced,
attorney.
yeah.
I never.
Wait, you didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Well, when we get closer, we'll talk a lot more about who She-Hulk is, Jennifer Walters.
Yeah, that would be
and
nice.
whatnot. Apparently, apparently,
I know very little of She-Hulk.
All right. We'll mention, I guess, a little bit because I did watch the trailer, so I'll talk about that in just a second. But anyways, Loki season 2, he announced that they will be starting production on that very, very soon.
Nice.
They did a little teaser for Secret Invasion, which is coming. I don't think they set a date, but so then they talked about some other Disney Plus stuff. And then we saw a new clip, I guess, from Thor: Love and Thunder. I'll get into the two big ones, I guess, are that little clip and the trailer for She-Hulk. So,
All right.
She-Hulk trailer. It was okay. It was an okay trailer. I'd say my favorite part of it was the way they went about showing who she's going to be, the world, and whatnot. So, Jennifer Walters is her alias, or
All right.
however you want to say it. She is a lawyer. She-Hulk is kind of closer. She has a lot more control of her abilities than Bruce Banner does.
I knew that.
She is related to Bruce Banner. That's how she ends up. Anyways, there's blood transfusion. That's how she ends up getting the power. I don't know how they're going to tell the story in it, but
a drop of blood fell from the sky and just
Exactly. But there is definitely like showing like her trying to learn to control her powers in it, and so that should be fun to see. And then here's what I didn't like.
Oh.
She looks not great as She-Hulk.
Oh dear.
It's like so close to be looking good, you know?
Oh
But
dear.
it's just like close enough that it looks awful.
I don't like that. I hate that.
Hopefully gets a little CGI like brush up before it comes out. Hopefully it's not going to look exactly like it did in the trailer. And maybe it'll grow on me when I see it more, but I did not like it. But the style does look like it'll be kind of interesting. It sounds like she's going to be like a lawyer fighting for superhero rights, which would be interesting. Especially like the way the world is like in the MCU right now, it could be really interesting. The other thing we saw was this shot from Thor: Love and Thunder, and in it appears that it's like a congregation of gods and whatnot, because Gore the God Butcher's right killing everybody.
Okay.
So it looks like they're gonna like be like, hey, what are we gonna do about this? And one of the gods we see is the Black Panther god. Bost, I think is her name. And
That's
interesting.
new Marvel.
Sorry, I told you I can't remember names today. But anyways, that should be really interesting to like see the tie to like Wakanda Forever and whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right.
Those are the big things. Yeah, they didn't really release any dates and stuff, but I wasn't able to like watch it all and everything, so next week I might have more to talk about from that. But yeah.
Nothing new on like maybe Miss Marvel
Nope.
or
I mean, I talked about the TV
you talked about
trailer last week, and yeah, nothing since then.
Nothing new, nothing like great.
No.
All right.
So yeah, I guess we will see y'all next week.
Yeah. Well, hold on.
What?
Don't we want to talk about what we're doing?
Didn't we already do that? Sure. Up for us, we'll be doing part 2.
That's right. We did do it. Dang now it. I'm so tired.
So yeah, if you want to hear our part 2 of the fight scene, we will see y'all next week.
Yeah. Don't put yourselves inside a box.